An inspector calls Grade 9 essay. How does Priestley present the character of Sheila Birling? In the stage directions, Sheila is described as a pretty girl in her early 20s, very pleased with life. At the beginning of the play, she appears to be naive. The audience detects this when she questions Gerald about when you never came near me in the previous summer, and I wondered what had happened to you. This clearly indicates that Sheila never suspects that Gerald could do anything wrong. Sheila is unlike her icy and unemotional parents because she openly expresses what she thinks and feels, and is described as rather excited. Her emotional immaturity can be deciphered when Mr. Birling reprimands her because he thinks she's not listening to him. Sheila quickly responds with, "I'm sorry, Daddy, I actually was listening," which reveals how obedient she is and keen to behave well. Sheila's subservient disposition is evident when Gerald gives her the engagement ring and she says, "It's the one you wanted me to have." This quote reveals that pleasing her fiancé is far more important than her personal happiness. In 1912, when the play is set, it was expected that all women would marry and not work. Sheila Birling is no exception. Sheila is genuinely upset when the inspector reveals that a young lady has killed herself and responds emotionally by saying, "Oh, how horrible." She is sincere and the audience realize how different she is from her parents. This news does distress Sheila because she can't help thinking about this girl destroying herself so horribly, and I've been so happy tonight. This declaration foreshadows what will happen. Sheila reprimands her father for sacking Eva Smith. She tells him directly, "These girls aren't cheap labor, they're people." This quote shows that Sheila has a caring nature and holds socialist views which Mr. Birling is completely opposed to. Moreover, the tension of the play increases when Sheila discovers that she played a part in the death of Eva Smith. When the inspector shows her a photograph, she immediately gives a half-stifled sob and instantaneously declares, "So I'm really responsible." Even though Sheila is also guilty, the audience sympathizes with her because she acknowledges and admits to her role in the tragic end of Eva Smith. She does feel desperately sorry about what she has done. Sheila is also the first character to give the audience some clues about the uniqueness of the inspector when she simply declares, "You knew it was me all the time, didn't you?" Act 1 ends with a cliffhanger when Sheila states, "Of course he knows, and I hate to think how much he knows that we don't know yet. You'll see, you'll see." This quote indicates that Sheila is perceptive, and we witness this as the play progresses when she warns Gerald not to build a wall between us and that girl. The inspector will just break it down. She also seriously cautions her mother, "He's giving us the rope, so we'll hang ourselves." Sheila wisely understands that their wealth and privileged position is meaningless in the eyes of the inspector. By admitting to her mistake, Sheila mentions that she was in a bad temper and that she is jealous of Eva Smith. She develops as an individual. She realizes that her spoiled behavior and arrogant attitude at Millward's is completely wrong. Sheila admits that "I was absolutely furious, I was very rude," but is completely apologetic when she declares, "I'll never, never do it again." Sheila has learnt an exceedingly important lesson, and that is she should not abuse her privileged position. Towards the end of Act 2, Sheila returns the engagement ring to Gerald and tells him, "I rather respect you more than I've ever done before." This not only increases the dramatic tension, but the audience views Sheila as a principled individual who will not turn a blind eye to Gerald's misdemeanors. As well as demonstrating maturity as the play progresses, Sheila also becomes more assertive. Sheila is appalled at her mother's inhumane behaviour towards Eva Smith. She does not disguise her fury and declares, "Mother, I think it was cruel and vile." In Edwardian England, children never spoke disrespectfully to their parents. Clearly, Mrs. Birling is totally indifferent to her daughter's comments, and it is Sheila who again increases the dramatic tension when she begs, with sudden alarm, "Mother, stop, stop." It is ironic how the younger generation are wiser than the bigoted old characters. In Act 3, it is evident that Sheila cannot understand her parents, and vice versa. Priestley intentionally does this because he wants the audience to be aware of the huge differences in attitude between the young and the old. We fully empathise with Sheila when she laments that her parents don't seem to have learnt anything. When Sheila confidently states, "Between us, we drove that girl to commit suicide," she wants her parents to admit their role in the downfall of Eva Smith and acknowledge that they have behaved unethically and the consequences are dire. Sheila also comments that there was something curious about the inspector, and we shortly discover that he is not real. This does not deter her from declaring, whoever that inspector was, it was anything but a joke. Sheila is horrified how quickly her parents and Gerald compose themselves when they discover the inspector is a fake. "You're pretending everything is just as it was before." She wisely mentions that everything we said had happened really had happened, but only Eric agrees with her. Sheila's empathetic, intelligent and sensible nature make her the conscience of the Birling family. Her character develops as the play progresses. She instantaneously learns her lesson and changes. Sheila also tries to encourage her obstinate and arrogant parents to do the same. Priestley uses the character of Sheila Birling to convey his socialist messages to the audience. Sheila represents the younger generation who are more impressionable and therefore give hope that society can improve if people accept a sense of responsibility.